I would ask everyone to stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's invocation is being offered by Council Member Tim Garrett.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here this evening. Be with us now as we make decisions that will affect the lives of our friends and neighbors. Amen.
Without objection, we'll suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes of our June 18th meeting? We have a motion and a second. Without objection, the minutes will stand approved as written. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
There is a message from the mayor. Dear Vice Mayor, neighbors, and members of the council, please find attached the State of Tennessee reporting form, State Form number CT-0253, required to be submitted to the local legislative body following the sale of bonds previously authorized by the Metropolitan Council. The report is for the sale of $56,055,000 electric system revenue refunding bonds, 2013 Series A, which closed on June 27, 2013. The refunding issue was structured in conformance with the Nashville Electric Service debt policy and will result in a net present value savings of $5,761,660 at 9.78626% for the Metropolitan government over the remaining life of the bonds. As always, we appreciate the Metropolitan Council's support in these important financing initiatives. Sincerely, Carl F. Dean, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Allen, did you wish to be recognized?
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to recognize a visiting intern from Caen, France. This is Manon Le Breton. Thank you. She is going to be interning in the mayor's office and hopefully working on a promotional material for one of our neighborhoods. So hope you all will make her welcome. Thank you.
Councilman Anthony Davis, do you have a report from the Rules and Confirmation Committee?
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor. Several confirmations this evening. First, for the Auditorium Commission, we had a reappointment of Mr. Randy Rayburn. Committee recommended 8-4-0 against, and I'd like to move his approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, for the Electric Power Board, we had the reappointment of Mr. Robert McCabe. Committee recommended 8-4-0 against, and I'd like to move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
For the Employee Benefit Board, first-time appointment of Dr. Stephanie Bailey. Committee recommended 8-4-0 against as well, and I'd move her approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
For the Property Standards and Appeals Board, we had two first-time appointments, Mr. Bobby Emery and Mr. Michael Height, and the committee recommended both 8-4-0 against, and I'll move their approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Finally, for the Public Library Board, we had a first-time appointment of Ms. Seppi Kansari. Committee recommended 8-4-0 against, and I'd like to move her approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Randy Rayburn, Robert McCabe, Stephanie Bailey, Bobby Emery, Michael Height, and Seppi Kansari. On behalf of the entire Metropolitan Council, thank you for volunteering your time and your expertise to our great city. Thank you very much. We are now at bills on public hearing. The first one is BL 2013-468, applies a historic landmark overlay to .87 acres of property located at 305 Kent Road. Councilmember Stanley.
Proceed with public hearing, please.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one on either side, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Stanley.
Move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-469 changes .54 acres from RS 7.5 and CN to SP zoning for properties located at 132 and 134 46th Avenue North to permit up to 3 single-family residential units and an office, restaurant, and/or retail uses. Councilmember Holloman.
Move to open the public hearing.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Thank you. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Thank you. Anyone in support wishing to speak, please line up at the lectern. Please state your name and your address.
My name is Andrew Stone. I am the owner and developer at 132 and 134 46th Avenue North. I'd like to thank Council Holloman and the council for your time this evening. We've been working long and hard since November 2012 with the Sylvan Park Neighborhood Association and members of the Sylvan Park neighborhood to work on this development and come up with a comprehensive plan that we think will add not only value but add to the aesthetics and life of the quality of life for people in Sylvan Park. So I'd just like to thank everyone for their time, and we look forward to working with them going forward and having a new place for people to eat and live within Sylvan Park. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Claire Manili, and I'm the owner of Dozen Bakery. We will be one of the commercial spaces located at the proposed development. I'm here to voice my support for this project. From the beginning, the owners of this property, Brian Adams and Andy Stone, they've gone out of their way to seek support from the community on this plan. They have worked for several months with the Sylvan Park Neighborhood Association, which supports this project. And they have heard a strong neighborhood desire for a small restaurant that people can walk to in the evening, and for my bakery, Dozen Bakery, which will be open during the day. They designed this project with the neighborhood wishes in mind, and they have worked closely with the staff of the Planning Commission and Councilman Holloman, and they have held numerous public meetings to address concerns raised by the neighborhood. Many of my Sylvan Park customers, including some who live very nearby, have attended meetings and voiced their opinion that they approve the improved commercial and residential spaces, and they approve the sidewalks, trees, additional parking, and they think this will be a major improvement to the neighborhood. Personally, as a small business owner, I've appreciated the opportunity to work with developers who are focused on creating a home for small, locally owned businesses like mine. They have worked closely with the community. They have respected the character of the neighborhood, and they are trying to make sure their project makes a better, more walkable and livable place. This is exactly the kind of modest, thoughtful redevelopment project our city should encourage, and I'm proud to associate my business with it. I hope you will vote to approve this rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak here tonight in support of this. My name is Griffin Dunham, resident of Sylvan Park, and I don't just speak for the family located at 4807 Idaho Avenue, but also those around me. I have the privilege of knowing quite a few people in Sylvan Park. I consider them friends. I consider them good neighbors. And it's, first of all, it's much appreciated that specifically Mr. Adams, that both the gentleman, Andrew, who also spoke tonight, have reached out to the people of Sylvan Park. And they've asked the questions that we all want to know about and what they need to know in order to make sure that the development is something that is consistent with what we Sylvan Park residents really value. And so first of all, I want to thank them for reaching out and figuring out what it is that we want. They've been in touch with us every step of the way. They've asked for comment, and they made sure that they've gotten the people involved who may have an objection and also those who support. So they are in it. I have talked to them, and they're sophisticated gentlemen, and I absolutely do trust their judgment. But above and beyond that, what they're trying to do is bring value to the area. Sylvan Park, as many of you know, it's in competition with Belmont. It's in competition with the different little pockets that are located within Nashville. And it's a fantastic place to live. And it has the local taco, it has the neighbors, it has the different commercial areas in there that are making it relevant and that are keeping it relevant. This adds to that as well. And not only just from the residential standpoint, but from the commercial standpoint, this is a good thing for Sylvan Park. As a young professional, if you look at the demographics of Sylvan Park, the young professionals are becoming the majority in that area. And those are the people that are looking forward to the opportunities that are going to be created by the type of development that is being proposed. It's going to add to the property values, and it's going to add to the quality of life, and possibly most importantly, there's going to be a synergistic effect with the improvements that are being made to the Charlotte Avenue area. And most importantly, at least for me personally, is that there's going to be a reduction in crime. Whenever you have the developments that we're talking about here tonight, you have more of a presence. There's going to be that reduction in crime. I wholeheartedly support what this development is about, and tonight it is my privilege to be able to speak on behalf of not just myself, but the other Sylvan Park residents in favor, and I do hope that it gains your support as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else wishing to speak in support, would anyone in opposition wish to speak? If so, please line up at the lectern. State your name and address, please.
Elizabeth Southard, 4612 Utah Avenue. I live within 1 block of the proposed development, and the guys really have come up with a nice plan. It looks real pretty on paper and everything. They plan a building that is planned to house a 75-foot restaurant. And if you've ever worked in food service and you kind of break down the people that would even work there, you'd probably have 2 bar backs. They want to serve liquor here. Be open till 10 o'clock. You'd have 2 kitchen people, 4 people on the floor. That's 8 employees. They have a bakery proposed, a minimum of 2 employees, and they have 18 parking places. 18 parking places. And if people arrive to the restaurant like they generally do in the evenings, maybe 2 in a car, 75 people, you're looking at 37 cars with 29 cars with no parking place. If people show up in ones, that's even more than 29 cars. This will impact everyone that lives on Utah Avenue within either block, extending on in to 2 blocks, with people parking in front of our homes. And, you know, a lot of people over there park in front of their homes. They have people come visit them at night, babysitters, whatnot. But they have insufficient parking. And if you've been over in that area to the Murphy Road corner, you can see that it is impacted heavily with insufficient parking already. Furthermore, bringing this type of business to this area, there is no more commercial business for 3 more blocks on down the road till you get to the corner of Murphy and 46th. And between that is all residential on both sides of the street. Behind it to the east and to the west. And this will serve as an anchor for commercial development in a neighborhood that is very quiet. I moved there 25 years ago. My investment is my life. I moved there to live, and I plan to die there. These fellows are making an investment to make money. They could have this rezoned all residential and still make plenty of money on the investment that they have. They got this property at a wonderful price. And to extend the commercial property, they want to make this even more acreage of commercial property than it is currently zoned commercial. And I think that they should stay within the commercial zoning that is there right now. And the rest of it should be residential. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Terry Bear at 323 Forest Park, and I object to this and some of the language that was used. And you know, this is the same thing that's been going on all over Nashville, and somebody's gotten the idea that we all need to, that all neighborhoods have a problem. They're not getting enough young professionals in there. And, you know, they come in and they allocate spaces on the street, say that this is going to be plenty of parking, and that the people that are, and they also claim that, people are going to walk to this, and they don't really show, when it comes down to it, it's not really a business that ends up being the people who are in walking distance of it, and it causes more and more trouble, it causes more and more expense. People from your city offices have to come out to the neighborhoods and sort out the parking afterwards. This is only half an acre, just a little bit more than half an acre. I can't see how you can put all these things on there without attracting more high density, which I guess you guys want, but I don't think that's really the quality of life that we move into these neighborhoods in Nashville for. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else wishing to speak, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Holloman.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I move approval with a brief explanation.
We have a motion and a second. Councilman.
Members of the council, bear with me just a minute. I do want to explain just a little bit, because this is a somewhat unique piece of property. This is, and for those of you that are familiar with Sylvan Park, this is an existing commercial space within the neighborhood. When this neighborhood was found in the early 1900s, we had several community stores that were located throughout the neighborhood, and this is one of those stores. This developer could, by right, today build 2,300 square feet of commercial space and would not have to do as much parking as being provided, and would not have to design it in as pedestrian and oriented way or with as good quality design and building materials as what you're seeing included in this SP. The trade-off here, after much negotiation and many meetings with the neighborhood, is that they will be allowed to add an additional space, the bakery that was mentioned, but that bakery is a daytime-oriented business that has limits at night. So, in fact, what they're building, when the peak parking hours occur, that other business won't be open. And in fact, the square footage of that restaurant that will cause the peak parking is the same square footage as would be allowed by right today under the existing zoning. So with that, this has been a complex one. It's been a lot of negotiation, a lot of trade-offs. A lot of neighbors have attended and participated, and I think in the end, we have a product that does satisfy a need for more restaurant, retail space in our neighborhood, but at the same time does the best we can in a limited circumstance for parking, and certainly enhances the aesthetics of what's there today and what would otherwise be built on this property. And so with that, I renew my motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2013-470, changes .26 acres from R6 to RS5 zoning for property located at 500 South 15th Street. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you. Move to open public meeting.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Thank you. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one in opposition, would anyone in support wish to speak? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Westerholm.
With that, I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-471 changes 3.8 acres from R6 to SP zoning for a portion of property located at 6734 Charlotte Pike to permit an office development. Councilmember Baker.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Open for public hearing, please.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one in opposition, does anyone in support wish to speak? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Baker.
Move for approval, please.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-472 changes 16.22 acres from R10 to IWD zoning for a portion of property located at 3301 Knight Drive. Councilmember Hunt.
Madam President, open the public hearing, please.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one in opposition, would anyone in support wish to speak? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Hunt.
Move for approval, please.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-473 changes 1.3 acres from SP to MUGA zoning for properties located at 1204 and 1206 Brick Church Pike and at 40 Evergreen Avenue. Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move public hearing, please.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing none on either side, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Harrison.
Move we approve.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-474 changes 10.37 acres from IG to MUIA zoning for properties located at 400 Davidson Street. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move to open the public meeting.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Thank you. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one in opposition, does anyone in support wish to speak? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Westerholm.
Move approval.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Holloman.
Vice Mayor, I need to be recorded as abstaining on this vote.
So noted. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-475 changes 1.53 acres from R6 to SP zoning for properties located at 1800, 1802, 1804, 1806, 1808, 1810, 1812, and 1814 Rosa L. Parks Boulevard, and at 1811B, 1813A, and 1813B 7th Avenue North to permit up to 24 detached single-family dwelling units. Councilmember Berry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move to open the public hearing.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Thank you. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one in opposition, does anyone in support wish to speak? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Berry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move approval with a brief explanation.
Have a motion and a second.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm actually handling this for Councilmember Gilmore, and I know that she's done a lot of work with her neighborhood, as evidenced by the overwhelming support in the gallery. So with that, I would move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at resolutions on the consent agenda. Tonight, that includes RS 2013-746 through RS 2013-766. As we've done in the past, I will read the caption of all of them, and then at the end, if there is those that need to be pulled for separate consideration, we will pull them. 746 approves an agreement between Metro Government and the Industrial Development Board for administrative, financial, and legal services. 747 approves an advised investment policy for metropolitan government. 748 accepts a donation of a print photograph from Kevin Anthias to Metro Government. 749 approves an intergovernmental agreement between the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and Metro Government pertaining to the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Interstate Photo System Facial Recognition Pilot Program. 750 approves a grant from the State Department of Labor and Workforce Development to the Nashville Career Advancement Center to establish programs and deliver services to prepare youth workers for entry into the labor force. 751 authorizes the Director of Public Property Administration to exercise an option to purchase property for the purpose of expanding Cedar Hill Park. 752 approves a grant from Greenways for Nashville to the Metro Parks Department to provide funding for the salary and benefits of the Development Coordinator of Greenways. 753 approves the third and fourth amendment to a grant from Vanderbilt University to the Board of Parks and Recreation to collaborate on the Growing Right into Wellness program. 754 approves a grant from the Nashville Public Library Foundation to the Nashville Public Library for renovations to the Green Hills Branch Library. 755 approves a contract between the Metro Board of Health and Family and Children's Services 211 to provide an access to care model for the uninsured in Davidson County using the Service Point Call Point database system. 756 approves a grant from the State Department of Environment and Conservation to the Department of Public Works for the purpose of collecting and disposing of waste tires. 757 approves the annual fee for additional garbage and rubbish carts for residents of the Urban Services District. 758 authorizes the Department of Law to settle the lawsuit brought by Curtis Dressman against Metro Government and Lieutenant William Geis for the Sheriff's Department for the amount of $530,000. 759 approves the election of certain notaries public for Davidson County. 760 urges the 113th Congress of the United States to enact comprehensive immigration reform. 761 recognizes David and Becky Waynick, owners of the Nashboro Golf Course. 762 recognizes Commander Terrence Graves and the men and women who are committed to serve the North Precinct of Metro Nashville Police Department. 763 recognizes Monroe Harding's 120th anniversary. 764 proclaims the corner of McMillan Street and Charlotte Avenue as Governor's Corner. 765 recognizes students who participated in the Youth Entrepreneurship Spring Intern Program. 766 recognizes August 6th as Nashville's Night Out Against Crime. Are there any that need to be pulled? Are there any that need to be pulled from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I need reports from the following people. Councilmember Matthews.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance approved all resolutions on consent agenda, 11 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Weiner.
Health, Hospitals, and Social Services approved Resolution 755, 7 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Allen.
Parks and Library approved Resolutions 751, 752, 753, and 754. 4 in favor, none against.
Thank you. Councilmember Banks.
Thank you, Chair. Personnel Committee approved RS 2013-750, 6 for, 0 against.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, and Historic Committee approved RS 13-751 by a vote of 7-0.
Councilmember Bennett.
Public Safety approved 749, 6 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Potts.
Public Works voted to approve RS 2013-756 and 757, 8 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Rules approved 759 through 766, 8 for, 0 against, and I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on introduction and first reading. Is there a motion for their approval? A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on second reading. First is BL 2013-476, amends the Metro Code pertaining to the regulation of booting services. Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd move to defer one meeting.
I need a committee report from
I apologize.
Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Traffic and Parking deferred at the request of the sponsor for one meeting.
Thank you. And your motion is
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd move to defer one meeting.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-487 establishes the Barnes Fund for Affordable Housing, appropriates the initial funds for the Barnes Fund, and establishes a Metro Housing Trust Fund Commission. Councilmember Matthews.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Committee
Councilmember
reports.
Weiner.
Health, Hospitals, and Social Services approved the substitute budget and the bill 7-0.
Thank you. And Budget and Finance.
Budget and Finance approved the bill as substituted 11-4, 0 against, and I'd like to move the substitute.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the substitute. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Substitute passes. Councilman.
I'd like to move the bill as substituted.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the bill as substituted, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-488 approves a lease agreement between Metro Government and Graces Plaza Limited for the lease of space at 5005 Hillsborough Pike for the county clerk. Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, Historic voted to approve 7-0.
Councilmember Matthews.
Budget and Finance approved 10-4, 0 against.
Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-433 amends the solid waste provisions in the Metro Code to designate all fees collected for the disposal of excess garbage to be used for recycling. Councilmember Garrett.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Having been approved by all the committees, I'd move approval on third reading, ma'am.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-477 creates the positions of Fire Services Deputy Director and Fire Commander for the Nashville Fire Department. Councilmember Matthews.
I think Director Lynch would appreciate this, but I'd like to move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-478 creates the position of Information Systems Deputy Director for the Information Technology Services Department. Councilmember Matthews.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. 479 creates various positions to staff the crime laboratory within the Metro Police Department. Councilmember Matthews.
I'd like to move approval on this one also.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-480 designates Sweetbriar Avenue between 12th Avenue South and Belmont Boulevard as Pastor W.L. White Street. Councilmember Allen.
I'd like to move for approval, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-481 amends the official street and alley acceptance and maintenance map by abandoning a portion of Adair Road right-of-way. Councilmember Claiborne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-482 authorizes Metro Water to acquire permanent easements for the Autumn Ridge Stormwater Improvement Projects for properties located at 4375 Summertime Drive and 1705 Autumn Ridge Drive. Councilmember Hunt.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Seeing that all the other committees have approved Bill 482, I move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-483 authorizes Metro Water to acquire permanent and temporary easements for the Clifton Avenue Stormwater Improvement Projects for 3 properties located at 3611 and 3613 Batavia Avenue and 3700 Clifton Avenue. Councilmember Langster.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. All committees reporting. I move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-484 authorizes Metro Water to acquire permanent easements for the Moss Road and McGinnis Stormwater Improvement Projects for 3 properties located at 2541 and 2544 McGinnis Drive and 3701 Moss Road Drive. Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All committees in. I'd like to move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-485 authorizes Metro Water to acquire easements for the Whites Creek Pike Stormwater Improvement Project for 2 properties located at 4568 and 4572 Whites Creek Pike. Councilmember Matthews.
I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?